38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And now, let's turn down the house and light up the stage with the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Boy, oh boy, it's Sunday night, and that means we are back for another Auburn Experience podcast live recording. Episode 107 is coming your way with 2 major topics and, of course, a whole plethora of Auburn potpourri. It's still Christmas season in this household, after all, so we might talk about that a little bit. All that's coming up right now. Let's get into it and hang out again together for the first time in quite some time. David Housel described it best. We are living the whole of the Auburn experience. You can quantify it, you can qualify it through a variety of methods, times, people, places, things. But at its heart and at its core, the Auburn experience, to us at least, is all about 3 things: Auburn sports, Auburn culture, and Auburn family stuff. And if you need an easier way to say it, if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're doing with you today. The Auburn Experience podcast, live recording, episode 107 here. I'm your host, Kyle Loomis, alongside me as always, back from, I'm sure, just extra poundage added to him from the holidays, Mr. Austin Scott as your co-host. Welcome back, sir.
I do fill out this box a little bit more, don't I? Maybe that has something to do with it. Yes, Merry Christmas to all those that had a great season or a great holiday. Happy New Year. It is the season. It's such a special one. It always makes me a little sad as we hit the tail end of it. But I hope you had a good one. I hope our viewers and listeners had a good one as well. It's good to be back.
Now, I'm going to give you a little crap to start off with, because it sounded like you only wished a happy holidays or whatever to those that had a good holidays. To those that didn't have a good holiday, are you just saying bah humbug to them? Is that how we're going to start the show today?
Well, you can have a Merry Christmas and it not be happy. So I think that's still okay.
Well, okay.
But yes, if for some reason you had a rough holiday week and season, I apologize, but I hope that you found some joy in it somewhere.
I think Austin took joy in your lack of joy, but surely nobody had an unhappy holiday or Christmas, Hanukkah, all the different things that you can celebrate. I think Festivus is for the rest of us is like the other thing that's thrown in there this time of year too. Am I
There's several
okay.
This time of year. It gets very convoluted.
Well, we celebrate Merry Christmas here, and obviously the real reason for the season, the birth of our Savior, and we hope that you all had time to celebrate that and spend time with family and friends. It has been 2 weeks, Austin, since we've been able to get together. We had plans to do this episode right before Christmas happened, but I had some scheduling. This is all on me this time, folks. Not Austin, not to blame here. I was traveling through the woods from Eufaula, Alabama, back to Montgomery, Alabama. And it took a little bit of extra time than we thought it would. And so Austin had to bow out because I was going to make him do it very, very late. But it's all on me. But we're back here. Episode 107, sir. Does it feel like, do you feel refreshed, renewed after that little bit of a break?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just a short break, but it was a busy week. I'm sure we might get to talk about our weeks a little bit. But
yeah, let's do it.
It was fun, and so I'm glad to be back. We got a lot to cover. Just because we miss a week doesn't mean we take any time off. So we got a lot to cover.
Yeah, and we're trying to kind of piecemeal some things together, shorten some things, throw some things on together so that we try to hit the high points of everything. But certainly, we want to start off every show with Auburn Potpourri, where we discuss just random Auburn news stuff. And because we've spent, obviously, the first part of the show talking about Christmas, we're going to talk about Auburn Christmas. Now, first of all, I'm going to give a shout out to Aubie, Santa Aubie, whatever he is. He's back here somewhere in my shot.
Yeah, we can't really see him from this.
You can see him on the wide shot. He's finally been added to the backdrop here at Christmas, although that this will slowly be taken down. So if you want to celebrate Christmas with us for a few more days here, come to some of the live streams and stuff like that, and the lights will still be up for you guys. Some Auburn, we've got Santa Aubie, and then we've got Auburn Santa, and whatever else I threw up there to make it Christmassy in the backdrop here for you all. But what I'd love for us to do, Austin, is talk about maybe some gifts that we got for Christmas that are Auburn related. I've got a few I want to talk about, but I'll let you have the floor first, sir.
Well, yeah, we can go back and forth here if you want.
Sure.
I think you asked me about it a while back, but the boys it was heavily inundated with some Auburn gear this year. The boys got 2 Auburn hoodies, which we knew about from my grandmother. They've been asking. They hadn't been asking. They don't know what they asked for, but they sweatshirt is necessary this time of year, and they can't not have an Auburn one, and so they're very excited about those. And they look pretty cute, I must say. So I have to ask you, is that T-shirt a Christmas gift?
Why do you got to like cut my legs?
I just
out
had to
from
check.
under me?
I saw it when we were on the intro, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen him wear that one. And obviously, it's pretty new. But explain it to those who can't see.
All right, for those of you, I'll pull the microphone away a little bit so you can see and try to talk into it. Still, this is the championship T-shirt that you saw a lot from. I'm sure there were several iterations, but for men's golf 2024, and it is my first Auburn golf, not a golf shirt, but the program representing it. My goal, Austin, is to have a shirt for every single Auburn subject that could ever be. I'm talking, I want an Auburn engineering shirt and everything. So I finally got my men's golf T-shirt.
Love it.
I tried to even say to my people looking for me, hey, if you just want to get a generic golf shirt that can cover, but they found this one for me. Love it to celebrate that the men's golf championship. So yes, thank you for stealing essentially my first one.
I couldn't help it. It looks so good.
I knew nothing would slip past you, but that is my first of 3 things I have to share.
Okay. Well, I also this is a little different, a borderline, but my brother lives in Denver, Colorado, home of the Denver Broncos, and I have a new Bo Nix hat.
Wow.
I'm pretty proud of. And
it's even orange and blue as well, so it kind of works.
Orange and blue, an Auburn alum, and had a pretty good weekend, even though he took the loss. So I like that one. I wasn't expecting that, so that's a good one, and has a nice little Auburn flavor.
That's a nice little Auburn flavor. We kind of play loose and fast with that here anyway. So
that's right.
If it's orange and blue, it's what we do. I guess even the Broncos.
We have fun with it. You mean?
We have fun with it.
We stay focused.
We stay focused, and we're having the best year ever. I'm going to give a shout out to fellow podcasters and some of their books that I'm collecting. Van Alan Plexico and John Ringer of the AU Wishbone. I got Decade of Dominance finally to go with. I think I have 2. I know I have one. I'm looking at one right now, but I think I've got a second one that I can't find in my field of vision. But this is my next one, and just to kind of give you a preview from Dye to Bowden to Tuberville to Gus, the best. From Bo Over the Top to War Cam Eagle. This is going from 1980 something to 1981 to 2012. So obviously, many things have happened. But if you want to have this recounted from 2 great guys, that's a good one. Here. Decades of Dominance. On my list. You should.
I like that. And then my final one. This is my big one. I told our I'm blanking on our name. Conquer Club. That I had a good one coming up. So I am a avid Snow Village or Christmas Village person.
Oh, I know where you're going already.
I love to have the Christmas Village. It is my little guilty pleasure. My goodness, my little guilty pleasure. And it's my little old crotchety man thing every year. I get mine out. I got to get it like I like it. My collection is starting to grow. It's become kind of a bigger thing each year to year. So, but there's a certain collection within a bigger collection I always ask for. And so I ask people to check if it's this one, the Snow Village one, not the Christmas Vacation one, this kind of thing. This one is not in my village, but it's going to make it find a way because my dad found Sanford Hall.
I knew it. I knew it.
Village.
Look
at this. I wish I could plug it in for you so you could see the full effect. But I mean, my goodness, it's beautiful, Kyle.
Just set it nestle it in some cotton stuff.
Yeah.
And then you'll
drizzle some powdered sugar on top. Well, we can all dream there's an Auburn snow day. I love it.
I just got
pretty.
I got a weird vision of you being Salt Bay there for a second, with the little,
Can you
Okay.
meme this?
All right, stop that. This is getting weird. That's getting weird.
Can you use that as a GIF?
How old are we? That's a good one. My final thing is actually, I'm going to be very loose with the Auburn relation. It's for the E2C Network. It's for me, but it's for all of you that follow our content and stuff. There's some rearranging that's happening back around here that you see more in the full shot. But the one thing you won't see is this beautiful new desk that I am working from that raises up. It is more extended.
At you.
It is. So that's why my microphone sticks out a little bit more, because we're working with angles and stuff like that. But if you want me to throw that in there, it's for you, the best little family within the Auburn family. And it's for me, though. So sorry.
I like that.
A new desk that raises up and down so I can stand up and not, die of not getting my circulation going and all that.
That's right.
But
are you gonna get a little walking treadmill too? So you can
no. I like to go take my walks in the afternoon.
Yeah, in the sunshine,
in the freezing cold as well. So I get out there and do that. Anything else for you?
I think that's about it. I'm sure I'm missing something, so I apologize to those who were very, very generous to me this year. It was a great year.
Well, I knew we'd use most of our potpourri segment for that, but I figured it was very appropriate. So I wanted us to share what we got for Christmas that was Auburn related. But let's talk about a few other things that are Auburn potpourri news related. One of the big things that I want to discuss is baseball, because believe it or not, Austin, we are probably a month and a half from it beginning. So saddle up, boys and girls. We play ball in February. And speaking of playing ball, we have the full baseball schedule now that came available over the holiday break and the 2 weeks that we were gone. So I wanted to at least mention it. We're not going to give you every single game because obviously baseball season is very long, but they did what we were waiting on was the completion of the non-conference. So I will give you those at least. Of all the opponents that you can expect to see. I won't do all the dates, but Holy Cross, Troy, North Alabama, Wright State, Sanford. We go to the college baseball series in Arlington, Texas, where we'll play Ohio State. Help me. Do you remember the other two?
I'm looking at it. Oregon State and Baylor.
Oregon State and Baylor. So very good matchups there. We'll go at UAB, Old Dominion versus UT Martin, Alabama State versus South. Oh, actually, I got those a little bit backwards. But anyway, I skipped one somewhere. This thing
Vanderbilt, March 14th through 16th.
Well, I'm doing the non-conference.
I'm sorry.
South Alabama, UAB, at Georgia Tech, at Jacksonville State, Georgia Tech again, but back home, and Sanford and Jacksonville State. So that was what we were really waiting on. I think, Austin, correct me if I'm wrong, we went through this SEC schedule, or did we on a previous show?
Yeah, I'm really blanking. No, we did. I can remember. I can picture looking at the Irish graphic. Yes, we did.
I'll put you on the spot. Do you have it readily available right now to read off to the folks?
I have the whole thing. Yeah.
Give us, even though it's out of sequence now, give them the SEC schedule just so that we can say we said it on the show.
Okay, just SEC. So we start off home against Vanderbilt, March 14th through 16th, then on the road at Lexington against Kentucky. On the road in Athens against Georgia, home against Alabama, home against LSU, on the road in Texas, and then home against Mississippi State, at Tennessee, home against South Carolina, and to end the year at Ole Miss.
I know we talked about the SEC schedule probably when it came out in detail, but with the completion of the non-conference now that we just discussed or brought up, anything stick out to you in general about the schedule? I will just go ahead and take this easy one. I love seeing Georgia Tech home and away every single year. If you've not been to watch Auburn play at Georgia Tech, they've got a beautiful backdrop with the city of Atlanta every single time. So if you can come, if you're in the Atlanta area, please do that. So I just want to give a shout out to that. I won't call it a series, but we play each other home and away each and every year, basically at this point. Anything else big?
How about we do that for football too? I'll say that. That college baseball classic in Arlington is going to be awesome. There's going to be great matchups all throughout. I will always be in favor of, and I think I speak for Kyle as well, as playing as many in-state schools as you can. Yep. Sanford, South Alabama, Jack State, UAB. Not missing anybody, am I? All
North Alabama.
Out. Are they?
Yep.
Oh,
Troy.
Oh yeah, I missed them. Troy and North Alabama at the top.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's everybody. It feels like. I think that that is good for the state and good for Auburn's program to continue.
Yep.
Look, we've seen a lot of times where Auburn gets transfers from those programs. So to have a firsthand kind of connection relationship with them, you never know where that can help you down the road.
Yes, certainly. And just remember this, folks. The midweek games for a lot of these teams, whether they're in state or nearby or just anybody in a mid-major type of conference, these are very important games in the middle of the week that can really change the trajectory or restart yourself if you're in a bad streak. So taking care of business during the middle of game weeks for some of these, especially down the road, against teams that you see the name and you go, we probably should beat them. For the most part, take them seriously. They're very important to the schedule, certainly the SEC schedule, as it is in football, as it is in basketball, as it is now, it always probably has been in baseball, is a just gauntlet. So saddle up. Baseball season will be here before you know it. And as we're recording today, basically a month and a half. I'm going to do an audible on you, Austin. I think we spent enough time doing potpourri stuff, but we're going to get too long-haired. I'm going to use a term my mom used a lot this weekend. We'll get into our major topics coming up now, because if we don't, we will talk on and on about other things. But there's plenty of other time in future episodes to cover some other topics. Before we get into our major topics, though, I want to talk to you about our friends at Magic Mind. Now, you've heard me talk about these guys before. They're back again to work with us, and we're excited about it. Let me ask you something. If you are somebody who's trying to accomplish a bunch of things, the 7 days a week, sometimes they aren't enough. And I imagine that you can probably still accomplish a lot in those 7 days, but what if you could accomplish more? As a content creator personally, that's a big thing for me. But the big thing for me is trying to find that little bit of extra mental performance and focus to get all the things done, because y'all know how much content we put out here. Where do I get all this stuff from? There's a lot of options out there for you. Your coffees, your energy drinks, and things like that. But some of those, maybe not so the best side effects and things like that. Let me tell you about my friends at Magic Mind. In fact, let me encourage you to take their 7-day challenge with their Magic Mind Mental Performance Shot, which is a 2-ounce little liquid bottle that you can use in addition to your coffee. This is not a replacement for that. In addition to that, use it for 7 days, and you'll begin to see that your focus and mental performance will continue to increase and improve for your daily and weekly tasks. We saw the difference, and we know that you will too. I already mentioned that you do not have to think about this as a replacement for your everyday coffee. They, in fact, encourage you to do so because it helps activate further some of those effects that you get from your coffee if you are one of those coffee drinkers out there. You also could unlock the 12 active ingredients to their full capability by utilizing this not just once, not just twice, but as we've talked about, 7 days a week, if not longer, to utilize that to its fullest effect. And if you are not convinced, here's the great thing about this. You can get a money back guarantee, 100% refund, no questions asked for 100 days after buying, if you're not fully convinced that your mental performance is improving. Visit magicmind.com/theauburn and use code THEAUBURN. That is THEAUBURN for the code for 48% off your first subscription or 20% off your first time purchase. Are you ready to give it a try now? Help yourself improve in your productivity and get more motivated while doing all of that. Again, visit magicmind.com/theauburn and use code THEAUBURN, THEAUBURN, for 48% off your first subscription or 20% off a one-time purchase. First major topic tonight, Austin, that we have got to discuss is basketball full swing season, baby. I know we've been doing this for a while. We've been talking about basketball for a while, but look, football is done. We're going to talk about transfer portal stuff at some point in the show. I know that's still there, but our focus is now solely upon men's and women's basketball. We do want to spend some time catching up about men's basketball because, boy, has a lot happened in the 2 weeks since we have had a show. We had plenty to talk about last week if we were able to do it, with what happened with Janai, what a lot of speculation was going to start around that. It feels like maybe we had some bookends of drama on the non-conference season with certain things about planes and certain things about other wings, arm wings. I tried to make a little joke there.
I see what you tried.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Sorry. Thank you. I thought you would give me a pity dad laugh, but it didn't.
It's,
It wasn't as bad
You're
as last.
trying. You're doing what you can.
How about this? I will take my poor dad jokes over what happened in last episode. Go back and watch it if you haven't. All right. As a summary, though, and I want us to walk through it a little bit.
There's still time.
There's still time. There's still time for all these things. As a summary for what you guys missed, Janai Broom had a major, well, what appeared to be a major injury at the time to his shoulder. And that was during the Georgia State game. Had a big game from Chaney Johnson. The Purdue game happened in Birmingham, and we are now sitting on the eve of the final non-conference game. Let's walk through that a little bit, Austin, because it has been a minute since we have been here to kind of digest all that. Georgia State game, you come in after, the Maui Invitational, you've played Houston, you went to Duke, and this is one of those games you're supposed to take care of business.
Favored by like 38 or something like that.
Something like that. And 2 minutes into the game, everything seems to be swinging just fine. And then Janai Broom goes down with his shoulder and just literally bolts to the locker room from the playing floor. And he's holding it low. Jessica, my wife, who's a nurse, she even said the second she saw the replay, she said, that ain't good because of just how loose and free it looked. Now, I'm not a doctor. There's been a terminology out there for what it's called. Jessica was even surprised with what they called it. But obviously the doctors, and they know better with what they're going to share. Austin, did you think the season, we'd never want to talk about hyperbole like, oh, the season's over, but what were your thoughts when you saw Janai Broom go down like that?
Well, I hesitate even saying this, but it won't surprise some of our viewers and listeners to know I was present at the game.
No, you were not. You were not. What?
Had a really good view of this injury we're talking about.
How many times, Austin, do we have to go through this?
That's why I haven't said it before now. That's why I have not brought this up before now.
You had redeemed yourself so much. For those who need context,
we won. Let's just remember we won.
Did we? Janai Broom got hurt, and you were there, and you were the cause of it.
Well, now in the moment, I'm sitting there thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna have to fess up to this at some point." No, I had a really good view of it. Emily and I were sitting on that side of the court, behind the goal. Basically, if you've been in Neville Arena, we were in like the A of the AU. Yeah. The blue seats, in the midst of the orange ones. It was clear as day. We couldn't have seen it any better. What happened, and then him run off the court, and I looked at Emily and I just said, "Oh my gosh," thinking I'm just holding out hope. I really couldn't. I enjoyed the rest of the time. I enjoyed very much so being with my wife and getting some time out, just us. But it was like, how bad is this? Is this it? Yep. This would be something that would happen to us in a magical year where things are going great. But thankfully, I kind of watched the game, obviously, and was very impressed with Chaney Johnson's way to step up. And then WT, I was waiting on you. And then and then seeing Janai return to the court, I kind of that was my game. I was fixated on analyzing every movement. There was talk on Twitter later about, hey, what kind of fruit snacks did he have? That would tell us anything. But his spirits got better. It felt as the game went on, and I think that all led us to have some optimism. Obviously, we got into the week, and it wasn't that bad. Obviously, now hindsight being 2020, we see played in Purdue, played great game in Purdue, and we're all kind of taking a big deep sigh that everything's okay. But I was terrified, like much of the Auburn family.
It literally is one of those moments where this could be a drastic change for the trajectory of this program. However, and I talked about this a lot at the post-game show in other streams I was doing, that it presented an opportunity for this Auburn team to silence any doubters at this point that this is a complete team. You are taking away, at least at that moment, the best player in college basketball right now. That's not us as the orange and blue wearing, Auburn podcast, people saying this is national writers, pundits saying he is the player of the year at this point. What happens when you remove him from the equation? And against Georgia State, it's at home. It's against a team you should win. It really didn't matter because even though they played a little bit sloppy, who wouldn't after you just watched your teammate and the giant of your basketball team go down? Certainly you're going to play a little sloppy after that, but they take care of business.
And still won by that spread we were talking about.
Wasn't it even more than that too?
I think so.
Can we give a shout out to Chaney Johnson?
Oh,
come on.
Unbelievable.
What a game. I mean, come on.
Was it 30? It was close to 30. If it wasn't 30,
Yeah.
very efficient game. Someone like Chaney Johnson, who has had foul trouble before and is kind of prone to making those silly fouls, played an incredible game and just kind of took care of the worry on does it start now? Do they start seeing the effects of Janai going out now? Just dominated that night. It was very impressive. And I think, like you said, that can only further this assumption that this is a complete team. There is a 10, 11, 12 guys on that bench who can play and play at a high level.
Absolutely. And I just couldn't be more proud of the team. Couldn't be more proud of Janai, too, the way he fought through this and obviously made it into the Purdue game. And frankly, I was a little shocked that he played, that he started, that he did as well as he did. So if you're someone with the information that you currently have as a decision maker, or you're making your list, if you're a content creator, about who's the best players in college basketball, I don't know how you don't look at Janai's full body work and look at what he had to overcome and not give him and right now say he's not the best player in college basketball. He is. I mean, it's hands down, in my opinion. I guess it only counts for as much as you believe an Auburn fan. But what a performance by him as well, and what an opportunity to come back. What a performance by the team, because we go through this, Austin. We go to Purdue. Well, we don't go to Purdue. We go to play Purdue in Birmingham. It is a neutral site game. It is Auburn heavy, right? We get it, but it's not your gym. It's not your line of sights. It's going to be different. And this team walked up with one of the best teams in college basketball and made them look silly. It was one of the more boring games that I have watched all season, and that is saying something. This team is dang good, Austin. Whatever they face.
Oh, absolutely. I was not at that game, so you can all have your laughs.
I
was in the city limits, but did not attend. But I mean, the sound of that stadium or arena, I guess you want to call it, with packed out, like you said, not neutral site. It won't be neutral site when we go to, I think it's Indianapolis next year. It'll be a similar on the opposite effect. But like you said, to still have all that week, all the talk about is Janai going to play? Is Janai hurt? How bad is it? Is he going to be okay? And then to go travel and play a top 20 team, it felt so much like the Ohio State game too, where it was like, yes, this is a neutral site game. Yes, we're going to have a lot of our people there, but we're just going to go out and destroy this Big Ten team that a lot of people are high on. It's shocking to me how much they're consistent in doing that kind of thing. Now, we'll see the nitty gritty here when we get through tomorrow against Monmouth and into the SEC play. I think we'll see how much can this team really continue to dominate teams like that. I'm not saying they won't win. I'm just saying how much can they just blow teams out of the water, because the league is very deep. But for them to go through this non-conference schedule that we analyzed pre-season and have talked about all through all the scheduling news, and just dominate people, not just win. The fact that they've only had one loss alone is something to say. But the fact that these wins have just been blowouts is very, very impressive for this team.
Yeah, and I'm glad you rounded out that way. Obviously, we're sitting right now, for context, on the eve of that final non-conference game against Monmouth. You're at home. You're expected to win. Janai's back. Okay, look, we're not going to take anything for granted, but let's just be real. That's what the likely scenario is going to be. You win that game. Knocking on wood. Austin, don't go to the game. Sorry, I had to get one in too. With what you just said in mind, how impressive this schedule was, the results of this schedule, is the performance of this team better, the same, worse than you were anticipating for the non-conference predictions that you had in your mind?
Oh, better, because we both had 4 losses?
I think you had
3
2,
or 4.
I think you had 2 and I had 3, if I recall correctly.
Okay. Well, barring some collapse against Monmouth tomorrow, statistically, it will still be better. And I think it's far better than what I anticipated, because I just didn't see this team, as veteran as they are, being able to just come in and destroy the wills of the other team on the court.
Yep.
And in a stacked lineup of non-conference games, it's been consistently in and out every night. And so it's far better for me. Now, I am a firm believer, and I think the SEC, like most sports, is going to be an absolute bloodbath. But Auburn has put itself in a position to be confident and optimistic going into the second half of the season, where they're playing twice a week against top opponents, not just in the league but in the country. And so I'm shocked at how well they're playing. I couldn't be more thrilled, but it's certainly better than I expected, just slightly in the preseason.
Well, let me ask you the big question, and we're obviously talking about this moment in time, and a lot of the conversation about been around.
How many more games am I going to? Okay, I'm going
to. No, I'll leave you alone maybe for the rest of the show about that. I don't think the audience will let you off the hook, but with that in mind of what you thought about this team, the non-conference performance, what your belief is, how good this team actually is. And now with the knowledge, confirmation maybe is the best word, of how good the SEC is going to be. Do you feel both those things in your decision, more confident or less confident, or about the same in what Auburn's going to be able to do in SEC play?
More confident than I did when we predicted things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more confident. I think I had us like somewhere. I don't remember the wins and loss record. We should have written this down. But I think
you had 5 and I think I had 4. No, I had 4 and you had. I think you had 4 and I had 5.
We had. I think I had us somewhere like on not a top 4 seed in the SEC tournament. I think we were both somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I think this team is very, 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 very capable of getting a top 4 seed in the SEC tournament, if not top 2. I'm too impressed with them. I don't see how you can not look at what they have done so far and not see that is a possibility. So I'm very confident in them. Now they still have to do it. It doesn't mean that that's just going to happen. We've seen plenty of teams do incredibly well in the non-conference, not with this level of schedule, and then fall flat in SEC. But this team has tested themselves. They're deep, and they have what it takes.
Absolutely, they do. And what an incredible performance of adversity, of challenges on the schedule by Coach Bruce Pearl, his staff, this team. They have given us a great start to the 2024-25 basketball season, and we are so excited to watch how the rest of it is going to play out. Our next major topic tonight, we are going to go back to football for a little bit, folks, and we're looking towards the future. We did a little bit of this last episode. It's the transfer portal. It's not just Christmas time. It is the portal. It giveth and it taketh away in many ways. But I think this is yet again another year where Coach Hugh Freeze shows one of the things that he is very well known for, and that is recruiting high school. And I would also think he has shown a pretty good proficiency for finding those needs with quality, speculatively good talent, because when I say that, it's not taking anything away from him. It's just saying we don't know yet, right? Everybody wants to act like these things are surely not going to work or surely they will work. We don't know what the fit's going to be like till they get here. But let me give you a little round out about what's happened. On the previous episode, 106, we did discuss quarterback Jackson Arnold, who got things rolling, running back Darrell Robinson, punter Hudson Cack, and offensive lineman Xavier Chaplin, who had all at that point committed and signed. So we've done a discussion about those. So unless Austin wants to jump back into those, we won't go there. But the rest of them, defensive back Rayon Strader, defensive back Tay Seymour, quarterback Ashton Daniels, offensive lineman Mason Murphy, defensive lineman Dallas Walker, linebacker Xavier Atkins, wide receiver Horatio Fields, place kicker Connor Gibbs, tight end Preston Howard, and the one that everybody was waiting on, wide receiver Eric Singleton, rounds out your, at this moment, transfer portal class for Auburn in 2025. Austin, what you want to talk about? I know what you want to talk about.
Well, that's a lot. That's a lot of kids that have come in since we last talked. That I guess that's on us for having a week break, but it's been busy, and it's been really interesting to see where the needs are, where the priorities are, I guess. What's really interested me is the fact that a lot of these guys, it's probably about half and half, but a lot of these guys are guys with multiple years. And I don't think that is seen as much in the transfer portal era. Now, there's like a bajillion kids that get in the portal, so I'm probably wrong on that, but it feels like the ones that are talked about most of the guys who's got 1 year left, who's trying to make a big payday, who needs a plug and play guy really quickly just for 1 year to get things going. And a lot of these guys, I'm looking at Strader, Seymour, Atkins, Gibbs, Howard, and Singleton Jr. all have at least 2 years, some with 3 years left. So that tells me that you might not see these guys make giant impacts right away. Now, I think some are certainly being brought in to do that. But these are guys too that Auburn sees fit in that what they're trying to do long term and can work well. So I really like that. I think that is a good use of the portal era. Some of these guys might have been at their school they committed to and done well and but also saying, hey, I don't know if I fit here in what my goals are, and those goals kind of mesh with Auburn. So we'll see. I really like a lot of it. I like the wide receiver room. I think Fields and Singleton Jr. only elevate even more, if that's possible, the wide receiver room that is already at Auburn. Singleton Jr., I think I'm not the only one to say this, has been brought in to kind of fill that veteran role from Keandre Lambert-Smith. We saw how well Keandre Lambert-Smith did here in his lone year on the Plains. The offense being built around whoever is the starting quarterback at Auburn next season is getting better from a floor standpoint, and that has to make people excited.
And let me take what you said about the comparison of Eric Singleton with Keandre Lambert-Smith. It's very easy to go there, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. But as I was like learning about him, talking about it, we did videos about all these guys, and you should go check those out on YouTube. But it seems like he doesn't necessarily fit the Keandre Lambert-Smith role only in kind of idea or concept.
Right.
You know, it's a transfer portal guy coming in with some experience. He actually has less experience than Keandre did, if I'm not mistaken. I think he'd be listed as a true junior, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, yeah.
So technically 2 years. So he's coming in with a true sophomore as the other headliner. You know, it's Cam Coleman. It's his world now. Let's just be frank about it. So there are also two different types of guys. I'm talking about Keandre and comparing him, but also Cam Coleman. If I've got all the people straight in my head here that I'm talking about, if I remember his stat line from his 2 seasons, it was intriguing to me to see how much they started utilizing him in the running game too. So do you know what name it instantly? Let's see if you can read my mind. What Auburn wide receiver of recency pops into your head when you think, or am I thinking about, when we talk about being utilized in all facets of the game?
Man, I feel like I'm really being put on the spot here. I want to say Ryan Davis, but I don't know if I'm
That's
right.
a better one.
I'm saying Ryan Davis because it wasn't so much as running, but like the behind the line of scrimmage screen game. Who are you thinking of?
Anthony Schwarz. But I recognize even Anthony Schwarz, I believe, is a little bit smaller than Singleton is, and I think he's about 5'11". I forget where he is at exactly. I like the Ryan Davis comparison, and that is one I'd probably go with more to try to explain to people what this pickup makes me feel like. Certainly, I mean, are we mincing words here if we just go ahead and say this is the headliner of the class thus far? I mean,
yeah, I think so. As far as less questions about, right? Now Jackson Arnold had the name and started things off, and first and foremost, and the quarterback's always going to get more love. But I think that
one, and then the last one there kind of booking right now.
Agreed.
I think Xavier Chaplin as well. We've already mentioned a little bit. That's a big one too. We picked up 2 specialists. We talked about our new punter, another place kicker, Connor Gibbs, coming in. Now this is a walk-on, I believe. Certainly he can, fight his way into a scholarship. But wow, what a saga it's been for Auburn in kicking this year. Illnesses and having struggles, somebody taking over as a walk-on, and so you bring in another walk-on into the mix. I don't know that I've ever seen this many options at kicker, place kicker specifically for Auburn football in quite some time. It's weird, isn't it?
It's weird. It's not very reassuring, but I think you're going to see a room that has 3 walk-on kickers in the spring kind of battling for that starting spot, which is not super fun. But I think that you see guys who have experience. Obviously, Towns Magoo got plenty of experience, good or bad, this year.
Sure.
Connor Gibbs has had a couple years of experience. If I'm not mistaken, turned down a couple scholarship opportunities to come to Auburn. So we'll see how that plays out. But that's definitely a world where you look at this season and see if Auburn had better kicking production. Are we talking about wins and losses a little differently?
Sure.
Then that can always play a role, and so I hope they get that figured out for next year.
Yeah, and obviously there's other aspects of that as well, but it is hard to ignore the struggle and not act like it was a significant part of this. So it would make sense that you'd bring in not only a place kicker, but you're losing Oscar Chapman as well. That's why we talked about our new punter too. I think probably the other thing to talk about here, and you brought up Jackson Arnold. We've talked about Deuce Knight. This is one that was pretty much predicted to happen the moment the transfer portal opened.
Yeah.
Ashton Daniels coming over from Stanford. I think this one has a lot of people with opinions and intrigued, and I would venture to say confused in some ways. But then when you see what Walker White has officially transferred to Baylor, that happened today or yesterday, one of the two. So the room is set with 3 currently. There obviously could be a 4th one maybe brought in. I don't know. But Jackson Arnold, Deuce Knight, and now Ashton Daniels. What do you make of the Ashton Daniels addition with 1 year of eligibility, Austin?
Yeah, there's no disrespect to anything I say that should be. I hope that's not taken to Ashton Daniels. I don't think this is really so much as a solid or more competition piece for Jackson Arnold. I really think it is depth. I think a 1 year guy who has had a productive career, who has been a Power 5, Power 4, however you want to call it, with Stanford in the Pac-12 quarterback for much of his career. I think it gives him an opportunity to come home. And it gives Auburn the very unique opportunity to get an experienced guy who might be willing to take a backup role. Now, I'm not saying that they have given the job to Jackson Arnold. I don't believe that's the case. I think that there will be plenty of competition, and whoever does the best will be the one playing on Saturday. But I think that Ashton Daniels from Buford, Georgia, is now able to come back home a little bit closer, spend his final year of eligibility in a place he's very familiar with and very close to, and have a way of kind of maybe starting his next phase of career, whether that's coaching or that kind of thing. Just being able to be a veteran presence in that room and on the team.
Yeah.
Now, Ashton Daniels could blow everyone out of the water and win this job. Ashton Daniels could take over and be very good for Auburn should Jackson Arnold or someone else get hurt. I think that it'll be very interesting to see how he fits. Is his skill set something that can help Auburn in a different way with certain packages? We'll see. But, I don't think it's worth getting freaked out about. Now, I could say that about a multitude of things in the Auburn experience. But I think that it's good. It's rare in this transfer portal era to get a guy with 1 year and who has that much experience to come be on your team. But it'll be very interesting. There's plenty more freak out to come in the quarterback room, I'm sure. We've all heard Hugh Freeze says he likes 4, and there's only 3 right now. So we'll see what happens. I don't think you'll really see much left in this window. I think it might be the spring. So we'll see.
And keep in mind, too, that believe it was reported, Ashton Daniels will probably not be coming in until after the spring as well.
Yes.
So that's going to put him behind the 8 ball. So I think you walk out a few of these narratives that are clearly there. He's coming in later, 1 year of eligibility, coming closer to home. And suddenly you start to kind of paint the picture here that maybe, yes, he's coming in to compete. Who doesn't come in to compete? And if he's the best, he's going to have the job. And he's going to have my support, I'm sure Austin's support, and most reasonable Auburn fans' support. But we can look at what we think we know right now and say, hey, it's probably not going to be him as of this moment, but certainly we're going to be rooting for him. And certainly we're happy to have him here as part of the quarterback room that has gone through a complete overhaul.
Yes.
Ain't nobody left. Well, there's 3 more now, but nobody left from last year, which is Just weird to see. And by the way, we'll see one of them in game 1 next year, which will be quite interesting.
It will be very interesting. This is not the Baylor experience. We won't get into Baylor, but Baylor has
It will be when week 1 comes around and I'm there, hopefully. So get ready, folks.
Me as well. But we'll see if Baylor has had a productive quarterback the last year, so I don't see Walker taking over the job.
Yeah.
But Walker knows a lot about this Auburn offense now, and so it'll be a very interesting talking point that we'll get into much later.
If you weren't excited about that first game already, you now have
right.
another reason to be. And you have a lot of reason to be excited about 2025 in general with the way the transfer portal has gone. It is officially closed in terms of people entering it for this cycle now. So we'll kind of put two bookends on it. Jackson Arnold and Eric Singleton wrapping up what's been a very busy and very productive early transfer portal. And we'll continue to monitor the program in the offseason and talk about those things as they come up in the future. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today on episode 107 of the Auburn Experience podcast. We appreciate you being here and spending some time with us. You can keep up with me on X at Kyle Loomis 24. Where can they find you, sir?
Yeah, at Austin G. Scott on X on Instagram. Plenty of cute pictures of some twins during the Christmas time. Hope everybody had Merry Christmas. And Kyle, I meant to tell you this will be my last show until next year.
Well, it's hard. It's tough to hear. I don't know how I'll make it for 2 days. So we'll figure out a way to make without you. Hey, and by the way, you were plugging things to come see on your personal accounts. If you want to come see the Loomis family exterior illumination extravaganza.
I was very impressed.
Come see.
I was very
if you
impressed.
want to. If you like Christmas lights, come check it out on my personal account. Thanks for hanging out with us, being part of our little family within the Auburn family. Until we talk to you again, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
All right, folks, thank you so much for hanging out with us. That's the show. We're going to move into Q&A time here in just a second, but I do want to give Austin an opportunity. Austin, are you going to have to run?
I need to run. No, you're good.
All right, sir, but any final thoughts, derogatory rebuttals from you?
I don't believe so. Sorry, I was fixing my thing. But always enjoy it. Hope everyone had a really great year. I'm not going to be saying which games I'm going to the rest of the way, but there are 3 currently scheduled. So
help a brother out with some tickets, boy.
No, I all of these have been gifted to me, so I am thankful.
Well, whoever wants to gift one to me.
Apparently they want our team to lose if they're gifting them to me. So
well, you could gift them to me to keep us from losing, but hey, you do you.
Well, that'd be less fun for me to deal with the people on here.
Either way, we'll be happy to have you represent us there, even if it's a loss.
Some would beg to differ.
Yes, they would. All right, buddy. Thanks for hanging out.
All right.
We'll talk to you next week. Where you go. All right, folks, you're stuck with me for the rest of the show. We got 10 minutes in our regularly scheduled time, but if we get some good questions and comments, I might stay a little bit longer. It's been a minute after all. So that's what we're going to do here for the last little bit. Questions, topics, comments from you. I'll answer in Q&A style here. Post those now if you'd like. I'll go back and look through some of I do have some shout outs to give too. But that's how we'll go about those things. So let me do our shout outs first. I wanted to extend a humongous thank you. First of all, Dalton, who gave us our first super chat. And, I think you guys have seen this. They're doing this. I want you to set a goal of a super chat now on YouTube. It's a thing that they just ask us to do. So the fact that you even do it at all is amazing. I hope nobody feels obligated to do that. But Dalton, thank you so much for your super chat. And right behind him, Rodney was very generous as well to help keep the lights on here at E2C Network. This is very helpful as it always is, but we are moving into a year where there are some things changing with how, not even my decisions, but some equipment prices and how things are going to be modeled and monetization and stuff like that. So some uncertainty ahead, but hopefully nothing too drastic. And certainly anytime you guys can help support what we do here, it lessens the burden of that and helps us kind of know what we're working with each month. So thank you guys so much for Dalton, for Rodney, whoever else is able to do that in the future. So shout out to you guys as well. All right, look, let's do some announcements for you guys. I'm out of the practice of all this, so I haven't even gone to my whole thing here. Scheduled content for the week here on YouTube. we have got Auburn versus Monmouth tomorrow, post-game show. Get ready, folks. You have almost every week 2 post-game shows coming up for you every single week for Auburn men's basketball. Monmouth, the final non-conference game. We do that tomorrow night. Hope you can join us. It's going to be a good time. After that, we are going to have on Wednesday, Auburn Family Night is back, folks. Some call it the original, the OG show, the flagship show. This is the flagship show, though. And I just realized the date's wrong with that, so forgive me for that. But it will be 1/1/25, the Auburn Family Night this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, our live call-in show. Join us for that. We've also got another post-game show, Auburn versus Missouri, this Saturday, the first SEC game. Join us for that. And, of course, I already had it made, so we're going to just plug it away. 108 episode of the Auburn Experience podcast. What you're doing right now, join us next Sunday at 9 Eastern Time. Got a lot to look forward to this week. It's about to get rolling here for the winter months. As always, please check out the links in our description for ways that you can connect, support, contact us, and get it and follow something that you're not. We're on all the social media, all the content platforms you could want. So if you're not listening somewhere, if you're not watching somewhere, if you're not following somewhere, you're missing out on content because there is exclusive stuff there. So check those links out in our YouTube description. You can find them as well on Facebook, all of those good things. If you need help in any way, do reach out to me in DMs or email. And if you need help getting connected with anything that we do. All right, let's talk about some of the things that you guys are saying. It is the granddaddy of E2C. Corey says, our goal this year is to get more people here so Kyle can get a YouTube plaque on the wall. That would be amazing. I think we're a long way off from that because I think the first one you get is 100,000. And let me just look, there's a lot of great Auburn content creators out there, and some of them just now reached the 10s and 15s and 20,000. So I don't think they've gotten theirs yet. So we're away, but that's a great goal. Corey, I will be extremely happy if you guys can help us. And look, holistically, it is not about the numbers for me. In the business side of things, certainly it has to be about the numbers, but this is about you guys, the little family within the Auburn family, coming here each and every week, whenever you can, each and every week, whether you're here every stream or you're every video, what you can do to continue to help us grow, sharing us with your friends, sharing it on social media. That's a huge help. So thank you, Corey, for setting that goal for everybody. Let's see here. Oh, let's talk to WT here. He's got a question. Did it rub you the wrong way, the way that Walker White said about going to a team that develops quarterbacks, hoping it was not a dig at us? Now, let me clarify. If I remember correctly, I did see that snippet, and I think how you wrote it out here, WT, at least the way that I read it, it's not exactly that sentiment, but I think now in today's age, we are all kind of predisposed to look for the thing that we want to have I don't want to say the easiest, but the most logical, the less, I don't know what word I'm looking for. The reaction that we're most predisposed to. And certainly when someone leaves you, you're going to have that. I didn't really read anything into it. I think what I remember the statement is he's happy with the clear development path at the quarterback position for him. What I took that to mean is he was going to be here at Auburn, where a brand new guy with tons of eligibility was brought in, likely the heir apparent, an experienced guy who's probably going to have a good shot, as we talked about in Ashton Daniels, of competing for at least some playing time, if not all of it. You've got Deuce Knight, who's a new phenom. So he would have been stuck in the middle of this, where he's going to some place, as I understand it, for Baylor. There would be less competition. And I know that kind of starts stirring up those things. Are you afraid of competition? Let's be kind, guys. That's not necessarily always the case. There are sometimes other things at play. He could be going somewhere where there is a clear succession line to what's going to be happening. And to be honest, when you reset the quarterback room, there's not as clear as a succession line there. So I kind of understand it. I also am disappointed because I had a lot of high hopes for him here at Auburn, the leadership that I think he shares, but I wouldn't read too much in that. I don't think it was a dig at anyway. I think people want it to be because they want something to talk about. Russell, Is this your first comment on the stream? Look, buddy, we've missed you, man. Good to see you being back here. What else we got talking about here? WT, gosh. Some of those comments trying to get me to say certain things again was pretty funny. Anything else that we haven't discussed in the stream? We're still sitting with some time if you guys want to cover a few things. Let me look back through chat. WT said decorations are supposed to be kept up 12 days of Christmas. I don't take decorations down until January 6th. Well, mine go up, if I can, they go up the day after Halloween, and they will stay up until at least several days after New Year's. Now, I will say, my, whatever this is, Auburn Christmas tree truck, Santa Auburn Santa, Aubie Claus plate that just went up there, the lights, they will be going away sooner rather than later. So if you like them, enjoy it while you got it. Yeah, Russell, that is certainly at play that he had I think she is battling cancer, if I'm not mistaken. I will tell you, Russell, that I did run the math on this. It's not that much closer, like maybe by an hour. It may be easier. There may be some things that play in regards to what you're bringing up there that we're not privy to. I don't know. I will tell you this, that Baylor does have a strong foundation in the Christian faith. Having a seminary there. I have two brothers that graduated from there. He seems to be an individual that is very devout in his following of Jesus, and I commend him for that. And I very much, in some ways, I wish I had been more devout and forward in the ways that he clearly is. I think maybe some of that's at play there, which I'm just speculating at this point. Could have connected with him more in that way. Who knows? But he's not part of the Auburn experience anymore. But he always will be in some sense. We hope he has success outside of the first game next year. Unbeaten Lake says, we've played one of the toughest schedules of all time in our 11-1. I'm still worried about playing 2-10 Monmouth. When you get scared the way that we did, all of us, with the Janai Broom, you kind of worry about every single thing. Not too worried about it, to be honest with you. But this is the game of basketball and why it is one of the best, and some people would say the best sport, because there's so much variability there. You can literally have a 16 seed, someone who is just in the tournament because they won some conference, and that we give every conference champion a look at the tournament, could take down a number one. It has happened twice now, and I never thought I'd see the day. So it is a great sport. But then we look at things like that and we go, it's not going to happen. Do you think we can get extra eligibility for Denver and Chad Baker-Mazara? I do not know the ins and outs of the ruling that was made that has brought up this conversation, but I also don't know the ins and outs of anything else around it. So I'm not going to sit here and act like, yeah, I know. But it seems like the NCAA doesn't want to say no to anything these days. And once you open a door, it's hard to close it without really, really hard stuff happening. So I would say the door feels like it's more than cracked for that. And if that's the case, if you can retain Denver Jones and Chad Baker-Mazara in a year where you are literally, after this year, losing everybody of significant playing time, pretty much, aside from a handful, that'd be huge. Really big. I would love to have those two guys around, but I don't have any speculation one way or the other. I think it's also awesome yet sad at the same time that Austin has to think about you all, our audience, when he is at an event and something bad happens. It's equally funny, hilarious, awesome, a testament to you guys, but it's also sad for him that he has to think about those things. It's funny though. Very, very funny. Okay, folks, round the show out. I want to thank you guys for giving us a little bit of downtime this holiday season. It's always much appreciated when we're able to do that. I tried to get a few more things in this year for you all. It just didn't work out. I always get a little bit of over anticipatory of what I can pull off during the holidays. But we're back. We're ready. Lots of content this week, live streams and planned videos as always. So, and we'll be getting back into a groove of doing stuff on social media. So we'd love to hear from you guys. If you're not part of the Conquer Club, we'd love for you to be, so that you can be part of that community, a little even more special family within the Auburn family on our Patreon. We hope you guys are all ready for what is going to be an amazing, awesome 2025 for Auburn football. And we thank you for spending the last few minutes of 2024 with us for episode 107 of the Auburn Experience podcast. Thank you guys so much for being with us and hanging out. Till we talk to you again. War Eagle.